an odd one. So, 1851, a medical doctor named Samuel A. Cartwright, who was a prominent member of the Democrat Party, Louisiana socialite, and writes a book called The Report on the Diseases and Physical Peculiarities of the Negro Race. And it was written really because slave owners at the time wanted some way to justify enslavement as a therapeutic necessity for slaves. And of course it made them feel morally superior. The gist of it was that they, Cartwright and his cronies declare freedom a disease, or the lust for freedom is a disease. So anyone who wanted to run, anyone who wanted to be free, of course, was essentially deemed insane. Why would you want to leave this? Cartwright writes in this report on the diseases and physical peculiarities of the Negro race, quote, "In noticing a disease not heretofore classed among the long list of maladies that man is subject to, it was necessary to have a new term to express it." So he combines two Greek words, drapetos, which is Greek for slave, and mania, of course, insanity, the insanity of slaves. It's in two parts. I call it a diptych. A diptych is essentially two works of art that are related in some way. A triptych, three works of art that are related in some way. This is diptych drapetomania. Number one, the diagnosis. To know for certain whether Dr. Cartwright could smell the lie in his own ersatz conclusions would be to know the color of despair. Was he simply cozy with the sepulchre washed white, or a paradox addled by the state of his own affairs? Freedom was a devil whose minions needed beating. When paternalism failed, it was best to raise contusions. Then justify such perfidy with invention and deceiving. Drapetus plus mania, the madness of the runaway slave. How elegantly pseudo and how classically designed this newly identified, heretofore unrecognized disorder particular to the peculiar institution. But pseudo is yet honored in the house of retribution, and madness wasn't buried with Cartwright in his grave. Part two, based on an article that I'd read about the time I wrote this, written by John Lehrer, called The Psychology of Conspiracy Theories. And here's a quote from that. It struck me as being ominously similar to Cartwright's article, his essay written 160 years before. He says, quote, "This is how they reacted to the dissonance of being wrong by becoming even more certain that they were right." Unquote. So this is Doerr, Lehrer in German means teacher, of course, to the 21st century drapetomaniac. Go on, worry, question, be skeptical. Try to jam the gears of this unthinkable world and shuffle up, receive the host of diagnoses. This one salts the earth of unbridled tongues. That one reins in the galloping fertility of why. All replace good doubt with, quote, cognitive dissonance. To stray from this is illness. It rights no wrongs. Submit to the yoke and the master anamnesis. Empiricism is of no concern when reality is gnarled caringly, preemptively by those who dictate truth. Suspicion of doublespeak has been designated faith and deserves the derision now reserved for dissidents. To yearn for independence is to demonstrate disorder, profound psychosis, lunacy, a tendency to martyr. The lyrics to the song, of course, are in the back of the book, the third section.